Hello, happy Friday, happy March the 1st. I'm super excited to be here today. We're stepping into spring with an amazing lady, Brigitte Münch, that I'm going to be interviewing. And Brigitte is a business coach and she helps consultants, coaches, and lawyers in their first year of business to find and attract clients. So I'm sure we can all relate to our first year of business is very scary and getting clients really is essential. So I'm really happy to dive in. Brigitte, before I bring her up on the stage, I just wanted to say who I am because I have a naughty habit of speeding in and forgetting to introduce myself. So I am Jen Corcoran and I help badass introverts and empaths to find and attract clients on LinkedIn. I specialize in helping female coaches, consultants, and creatives. And Brigitte is very much one of my favorite clients. She is a badass introvert and empath. So I'm super excited to get her advice today. I know she's got her own framework that helps business owners to start off. She goes really deep into your niche, your clarity of your message, and creating a compelling market offer. Because if you don't have a compelling market offer, nobody's going to buy it. And if you don't have a clear message, you're not going to get people resonating. So I'm really excited to jump in. And if anybody is on here today, we know it's Friday, it's a little bit quieter on a Friday. But if you are here, just say hi, let us know. We're not talking to it just to ourselves, which is still great, mind you. So, and let us know as well if you are watching on replay. We know there's lots of people who tune in from different time zones. And yeah, we're just saying hi to you if that is you. So I'm going to get the amazing Brigitte up on the stage now. And I'm going to dive in and ask her some questions about how to get those clients in your first year of business. So here is the wonderful Brigitte. Hello.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi, me.
Are you good, Jen?
I'm sorry, I'm kind of talking over you. I think there's a tiny time lag, so sorry about that. So Brigitte is joining us today from Switzerland. She's up in the Alps, and she's definitely a badass. She's, as well as a business coach, she is a ski instructor. And yeah, just to kind of gently introduce you to my audience, like, how did you end up in the Alps? And I know you're not Swiss, you're originally from Northern Germany. So yeah, let us know a little bit about you doing your business coaching alongside the ski instructor.
Yeah, it's a bit of a journey, to be honest. So as you said, I'm from Northern Germany, born on 4 meters above sea level. And landscape is very flat. I think you in the UK can relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I fell in love with the mountains in, I think, end of the 70s, somehow in the 80s, when I was a child and my parents took me for vacation to this place, actually, where I'm working now as a ski instructor. So it's a bit full circle. And yeah, I just fell in love with mountains, with skiing, and I decided 6 years ago to move to Switzerland and to be closer to mountains because I wanted to be in an environment which is inspiring to me. And I also wanted to make a big change in my career. I used to work as a lawyer and I was not really happy anymore. I was a tech lawyer and I worked in big corporate and it was all good and exciting and interesting. But I realized after almost 20 years, okay, there must be something else for me.
Yeah.
And I made some major changes in my life. So slowly but steadily, I grew my career or built up my career as a coach. And I fell in love with coaching, to be honest. I think it's so great to understand, to learn how we think, how we act. And I also realized that building up a business is not the same for everyone. So how do we find the right way, our way to do it? And yeah, that's why I just love helping so many people today to build business their own way. And I think especially the first year is so hard because many of my clients come from corporate and try to kind of copy this corporate world into their solopreneur business now, and it doesn't really work. and when they get coaching and it's noisy out there, and it's especially also on social media, also on LinkedIn, you have all these 6 figures in 6 days, and yeah, you name it, offers, and it just didn't work for me. So I thought there must be more people like me for whom it doesn't work. So that's why I decided to build up my own framework and help other people today.
Amazing. I can totally relate to everything you're saying. Like the first year in business is really hard. And I know that, I struggled probably for the first 2 years moving from employee to entrepreneur. I still think I was in employee mindset probably for the whole of the first year, thinking, oh, I need to, be at my desk 9 to 5, the way I did in corporate. And I should be giving this service because I can do that. And yeah, I wasn't really thinking of how do I want to run my business, what feels good for me. And like what you said, there is a lot of noise out there, and it doesn't resonate with all of us because we're all super different. And I know what we both have in common is that we're both introverts and we're both empaths, and we're also highly sensitive people. So I just wanted to chat to you a bit about that, because I know in particular, like introverts and empaths, we can overthink and get overwhelmed and block ourselves or procrastinate or try and be perfect, victims of perfectionism. So I'd love to know, like, what's your experience of that? And I know I can remember my first year in business. I'm 7 years in business now, but my first year in business, I was obsessed with my website and I was always making changes to it and it never felt ready. And I see that now with a lot of people on LinkedIn. And I think it's about saying, it's never going to be perfect. It's a work in progress, and that's okay. And I know that's hard for a lot of us introverts or empaths. We want to put our best foot forward. So I'd love to hear, like, how do you help introverts and empaths and highly sensitive people when they're making that transition into business?
Yeah, I think you're so right. I think it's the traits of highly sensitive people, but also introverts and empath. But I also think that many who come from the corporate world just overcomplicate things.
Yeah.
And I see it as my main task to simplify it. Because in the beginning, you don't need the perfect website, you don't need a logo, you don't need business cards, but we try to make it beautiful. And yeah, this perfectionism thing is totally me. Maybe also because I've worked as a lawyer, and of course we lawyers have to be very diligent, and it just has to be perfect just to reduce the risks we take. But it's really this overcomplicating things. And I also think it's this, corporate world you somehow try to bring into your business. And it was also when I did the business coaching for myself in the first 2 years, I was carried away by all these automation and tech stuff. People tell you, yeah, you have to have funnels. And I
Yeah.
didn't even know what a funnel was, to be honest, when I started, right? And I have to learn this. And then I went into this addiction of certifications and courses. I tried to just learn everything. And once I've learned this, I can go out. Okay, no, wait, there is another piece I have to learn, and then I go out. But the thing is, just go out, take action. And that is really, for me, the main thing. And for that, you also need the confidence and the clarity for yourself. Okay, what am I going out with? What is my message? Who is it I want to work with? What problem do I solve? And then you can develop the confidence in your own business and go out and take action. And it will be completely messy. I don't know what it was for you, but
Yeah.
for me, it was the best lessons I've learned to somehow come away from this perfectionism.
Yeah.
Okay, I just have to do it, as messy as it will be. And it still is. Sometimes I catch myself, that I want to make it beautiful, I want to make it perfect. And then I remind myself, okay, wait a second, I just take action now.
Yeah, No, that's great. That's great. And I'm just going to show a quick comment from Lisa who's joined us. Yeah, really. And to be honest, I think we can all relate to it because I can totally relate to wanting to make it beautiful, and we can really block ourselves. And I think one thing about being in business, when you are new to business, it literally is like going to university on steroids. You are going to learn so
Totally.
much, like, you know, even in your first year, you're just constantly taking in information. And like you said, Brigitte, about funnels, there's so many things to learn about, and just figuring out what do you really need to help you. And I think, like you said, that clarity of a message, people overcomplicate, and I know I overcomplicate. And even chatting to a client yesterday about, she was kind of overcomplicating what she's going to call herself, and I was like, just strip it back to life coach or business coach. You know, she was adding on extra words, and I was like, oh. And we've all done it, especially you want to seem like an expert, like credible, intelligent, so you make it more complicated. But actually the key is to really simplify, like you said, and strip things back. And one thing I've learned is to think like a copywriter when you're presenting yourself in business, is actually the magic of taking away words. And that can be hard if, you know, if you come from law, you're obviously going to have a lot of words. I've got an English degree, I have a lot of words, and some of us are very verbose. So stripping it back can be a struggle. But when you do strip it back and it's really clear what you do, then it's much easier for people to want to buy in, you know, your services or your product, because they know like what the outcome is. When you try and complicate and you confuse people, and then yeah, they're not going to really get on board if they're confused. They really need to understand your message. But yeah, no, I love what you said. I think we can all relate. And Lisa, if anybody else is listening, don't be shy. Share any comments or share any struggles that you have in your first year in business, or that you had. Because I think a lot of us try and be perfect. And like Brigitte says, you have to get comfortable with just taking messy action, and not so much failing. I know I had a real block about, oh, I'm failing, I've done it, it didn't work out. Because to be honest, failing, or you know, trying things that don't work out, is part of business, is part of the process. And I think that's why a lot of us introverts and empaths and highly sensitives get afraid to take action, because we don't want to fail, and we're not taught to fail in school or university. It's like, it's not good, you have to pass, you have to succeed, you have to excel. But business is really about taking that messy action again and again and again, and not being so attached to how it's going to work out, and just think it's part of the process, the failing, and it's actually where the magic happens. So yeah, I love that you've said all of this, and like Lisa said, people need to hear this today. So because I didn't hear it, and I think we look at people and they look glossy and they've got great branding, but they don't always tell you about the struggles and how to get to whatever stage they're at. They have failed many, 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 many times. So I'm just going to dive in. I've got a few more questions to ask you. Actually, yeah, this is a good one. I think, I know when I first started in business, I didn't focus on any kind of mindset work for probably about 2 years. And I know you really work with that. I think there's a lot of hype online of just being productive and just do it, take action, take action. But for a lot of us, we need to feel aligned to take action, and we need to feel in integrity, because if something doesn't feel good for us, we're not going to want to take the action. So I'd love to hear about the mindset work that you do with your clients.
Yeah, I love talking about it, so maybe this half hour is not enough, but you know, I'm I'm a big learner. I love learning and I love my brain. And I find it so fascinating how our brains work. And when I started my own personal development journey and the coaching journey, then where you always learn so much about yourself also, I found it so fascinating, this way how we think, how our thinking is shaped, how it is influenced, right? And what we ourselves can do to change perspective and how much that changes. So you can make big changes, but by just having a little tweak to your perspective. And very often we are so much in the tunnel and don't really see right and left, exactly like this. And then if you have someone, it can just be one sentence or one question, and you start thinking, yeah, that's actually right. Why did I think this way? And honestly, I think we should start to teach that to children in school,
Yeah.
to really make them understand how this is all shaped and how we learn and how we use our brain. And it's something, yeah, which I learned from sports also. You mentioned I'm also a ski instructor. And yeah, actually, it's kind of funny. You said it's almost springtime now in the UK. So here we have heavy snowfall today. So finally, and we are all super happy. So I got up at 5 in the morning today to get on the mountain at 6, and we had powder snow with a couple of colleagues this morning, and we were like little kids. And this playing around also with things, again, make it simpler, but also have a playful approach to things is something super important to me. And that's also a mindset thing. And if you're working with athletes and you're working in sports in that field, right? Mindset is so much. We all know it from these world championships of whatever. In the end, the one with a stronger mindset wins. Of course, it's a lot of practice, it's a lot of training, it's your physical condition. But if you're not in the right mindset when you start or enter into a competition, it will just not work.
Yeah.
And it's what I also try to do in my business coaching. Many come with this corporate mindset, right? And it's nothing bad about it, but you worked in your little corporate box. And now suddenly you have a business or you start a business and you have this feeling I have to do everything and all at once.
Yeah.
And okay, how can I sort it? How can I prioritize it? But also, what else do I need? How do I need to change my thinking to make it work? Because you don't have this machinery around you like you had in your corporate career.
Yeah.
And that's quite a big part. It was for me, and I see it also with my clients. And especially this confidence thing and this step to go out and really let the world know what you do and that you are there. Again, not overcomplicate things. And you said something interesting. I think it's really also this simplifying things, but also not trying to be super smart or clever. I think you said it in one of your webinars also, right? Don't try to be clever, just try to be simple in your language.
Yeah.
And that's something, I'm working on. Okay, think simply and then bring out your message also in a simple way that people understand.
Yeah. No, I love that because I think so many people try to be clever and not clear and they shoot themselves in the foot. And I've definitely been guilty of it. Just trying to make yourself sound like you're credible. But I think it probably stems from a bit of insecurity, especially when you're starting off in business. If it's completely new to you, you want to be taken seriously. And yeah, you just, especially if you're new, maybe you don't even have any testimonials yet or any clients, you want people to see you as credible, but actually keeping things really clear and simple is how you do it. And I think it's a struggle if you've come from certain professions, maybe like law as well. And I've come from like banking where, there's certain terminologies and certain acronyms and big words. So you feel like you're dumbing it down a bit, but actually in business, that is the way you actually cut through and have
Mm.
success in terms of sales. So yeah, keeping things really simple, like you said, is so important. And I think anyone listening today, I think probably one of my biggest regrets for my first year in business is not having an amazing like business coach like Brigitte. I just
Yeah.
tried to do everything, spinning all the plates. And I could because I used to be a virtual assistant. So I could do all the admin and stuff, but I wasn't in my joy state. I was kind of doing too much and I was afraid to outsource. I was a bit of a control freak as well, just like I want to keep it in my little bubble. And until I'm happy, I'm not going to get anyone else involved. And I think I totally neglected coaching and mindset. It was all about promote, post, be productive, get out there. And only when I think it was my second year, I started to get coaching. And that's when I started to have the shifts, because like you said, Brigitte, if we don't have the right mindset, you can be the best athlete in the world. But if the other person, maybe they're not even as good as you, but if they've got that stronger mindset that they can do it, that is what will get the results. So yeah, I think mindset is massively underrated in a lot of the hype out there, and it is so important because it's the thing that actually makes all the difference, because there's so many amazing business owners out there, coaches, consultants, new lawyers, and they're super clever, they've got great personalities, but they're not confident to put themselves out there and let people know that they exist. And I know my first year in business, I, created my website and I was like, ta-da, here it is. Come and find me. I'm an introvert. And then I got a real big shock when it was like, oh, I have to actually market this website. People don't know really that it exists unless I tell them. So you really have to have that confidence to break through. So I love that you're helping people with that, because it is just so important. So another
Yeah, and I think, sorry, just one thing I want to add is really do it your way. And that was a big challenge for me. There are so many self-proclaimed experts and gurus out there
yeah,
who tell you what to do. But whenever I tried to do it their way, it didn't feel right for me. And I
yeah,
thought, okay, no, but it must be different somehow for me. I don't like it when you tell coaches, in these big group coaching programs, no, I don't want to do it this way. Yeah, it's just you have to get over yourself and bring yourself out there. And I thought, yeah, I want to go out there, but in my way.
yeah,
And that was something really I had to learn to be connected also to what is important to me and how I would like to do it. And then it started to click,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I get that, because we're quite similar. Like, you like working one to one, and I know you like very small groups, and I'm the same. I know I launched group programs in the past because there's a lot of hype. You must have a big group program, and I did it, but it just didn't feel good for me because I wanted to give everyone more individual attention. And I think energetically it felt a lot. So there's a lot of hype and noise saying you must do it this way to scale, but we're all different. And I much prefer, like, one to one is my favorite. Whereas, from a scaling point of view, this is not seen as a success. So I think it's about, like, yeah, like you said, figuring out what works. And we're all different. We don't all have the same goals, we don't all have the same personalities, we don't all have the same energy or mindset. So what is successful to one person will not be successful to another person. So I love that you're
Totally.
helping people figure that out, because there's no one definition of success, and as long as we're all happy doing what we're doing, that is success to me. So yeah, I love that you said, and I can totally relate what you said earlier on as well about loving learning. And I think all the certification, I definitely had that all in the start of my business. It's kind of stemming from and not feeling worthy enough, not being good enough. Like, I'll do another cert. Okay, I'll qualify in LinkedIn, I'll qualify in SEO, I'll qualify in WordPress. It was kind of like giving myself that stamp of approval, like, do you know what, I'm an expert now. But like you say, there's always another certification. There's always something else to learn. And just giving yourself permission to say, okay, that is enough learning. I know a lot. I know a lot more than lots of people. And you don't need to be the ultimate expert in life. As long as you know a bit more than the people that you're trying to help, then you're ready. You don't
Yeah.
need to know everything. And I think because you're helping coaches and consultants and lawyers, they are intelligent people who are going to have big, open minds and taking a lot of information, and just giving yourself that permission that it doesn't have to be perfect. and just get out there. Even if you know 10% more than the people you're trying to help, that is good enough. Whereas I used to feel like I had to know so much more, had to be this big fountain of knowledge.
Exactly. Yeah, and we are so much in our heads,
Yeah,
right? And it's really, yeah, again, something I learn here when I work with kids, especially. I mean, you can read 1,000 books about how to ski or how to ride a bike, but you will not know how to do it until you do it.
yeah,
You know, it's, yeah, you have to go out there, find your way, find your balance, and really play around until you got it.
yeah.
And it's not only soaking in the knowledge and having it in your head and be able to talk about it, but if you have experienced it and went through it and made the experience, then you are ready, to help other people. That's what I think.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that about having all the theory and taking action is the only way. And the same with
Hmm.
LinkedIn as well. You can have all the theory under the sun, but until you take action, you're not going to know. You're not going to create the opportunities and create results. We could chat about LinkedIn Live, but only by doing this today can you see what
Yeah.
it's like. And
Yeah, totally. And I mean, it is a bit scary sometimes, right? But then try to make a game out of it to get some into the joy mode. So
yeah,
you mentioned joy before, and that was something I really had lost in the corporate world and
yeah,
also a bit in the legal world. And I wanted to get that back. I wanted to get back into the joy mode. And then I started my business, and then I was so overwhelmed and frustrated. And I thought, okay, but that's not what I thought it would be. So how do I find back this joy, and how can I enjoy what I'm doing? Yeah.
absolutely. And I think when I look back to my first year of business, I don't think I had much joy, to be honest. I think there was joy at having quit my job and be like, bye to my old job and my old colleagues. But there was not a lot of joy in the business because I was constantly overwhelmed and I didn't know what to prioritize. And I just felt like a bit of an imposter that I was playing at being a business owner. And yeah, like now, like you say, it's all about having the joy and giving yourself permission to have that joy and do things your way. Because I think,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of shoulds that go around, and you kind of have to just ditch the shoulds and speak to someone amazing like you that will help
Yeah.
them feel like, okay, this is okay. This is actually going to work for me. So I am mindful of the time. I've got like one question left for you, and I know you're amazing. You're going to go deeper into this in a few weeks. You're going to be running a webinar about how to like find out your niche. I think a lot of business owners, doesn't matter whether they're in their first year in business, 5 years of business, 10 years of business, struggle with their niche and their ideal client. So I know you're going to go into that, and I am going to join you. I'm just going to quickly put up here just a quick banner if anyone's watching on replay. If you fancy joining this, do reach out to myself or Brigitte and we will share the link with you. We're just getting it up and running at the moment. So it's going to be all about really niching and your core values, just about coming from a place of alignment and integrity. But before that, one last question is basically, what is your number one piece of advice for female coaches, consultants, and lawyers who are starting their new business or in this first year of business?
Yeah, I really think it's this do it your way. Find your way of doing business so that you can enjoy it.
Yeah,
And it sounds a bit fluffy now, but that's in the end really what helped me. Once I dared to do it my way, it started to get off the ground. And I think this is so important. And yeah, niching is a big thing. And for me, everything changed when I realized, okay, for me, it's not so much about the ideal client and having an avatar. There are all these avatar exercises out there. And honestly, I don't care if my client wears high heels or sneakers or loves mountains or the sea, you
yeah,
know. But it's really, what do I do for them? What is my business all about? What is the problem I solve for them? And of course, also a group of people then as a second step, who are my favorite people?
Yeah.
But I don't really care if they eat vegan or, like sleeping in the mornings and work late or whatever they do. I
Yeah.
don't really care. So for me, it's really more about this problem solving and being clear on your business. What do you want to achieve? And yeah, that was the biggest difference for me.
Oh, I love that. And I'm just laughing. Roommate, like I remember I had like 5 avatars in my first year of business because a lot of marketing people say, oh yeah, Mary, she lives here, she earns this, she reads this magazine. And I just couldn't get my head around it as well.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I just, yeah. So it's refreshing to hear somebody else voice that,
Yeah.
because I think a lot of people get bogged down with that, and it gets, yeah, it's refreshing. So definitely, if you found this refreshing, you're definitely going to want to come and join us for Brigitte's amazing webinar. And do reach out and connect with Brigitte and myself. We'd love to connect with you if you are a fellow introverted, empathic, coach, consultant, or lawyer. Don't be shy and reach out to us. I just want to put one quick comment up. Oh, okay, thank you. Oh, I don't know. Can we see that? Yep. Thanks, Jackie. I know Jackie is another fellow HSP coach, so it's good to know that, yeah, obviously this shit doesn't resonate with us. So that's refreshing to hear because I think nobody else is saying this kind of message. So yeah, thank you, Brigitte, for voicing that. You're the first person that I've heard say it, and I've kind of laughed because I hate them as well. So that's something to know. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening to us today. I'm just gonna play around with my little ticker here. I like to use a tiny bit of tech when I can get it to work. And I want to thank Brigitte for coming on and being an amazing guest. And she's very patient because she will tell you that she, up to about an hour ago, I was locked out of the house and my husband had gone off the key. So we didn't know whether this was going to happen. So she was lovely. She was up for rescheduling, but luckily we didn't need to. So I'm so glad that she's been here today and I've been here today. And any final words of advice or wisdom, Brigitte?
I'm looking forward to seeing you all on the webinar on the 13th of March.
Brilliant, brilliant.
And happy to connect. Please reach out. I'm always in touch and connecting with clients. I just love it.
Definitely, folks, reach out and connect with Brigitte. And if you want to like network more with people who are here today, look back at the event page. It's always a great opportunity to network with like minds. Have a look at the people who signed up. You never know. There could be somebody in there that you can collaborate with, become business buddies with. So don't be shy to reach out and connect. And if anyone wants the ticket to Brigitte's webinar, do send us a DM or put it in the comments below. Even if you're watching on replay, if you put in like ticket or webinar, we will come back to you. There's only 100 spots, so that's why we're not openly sharing the link. We just want to give it to the people who want it because they're the best people for us. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brigitte. And we just want to say, yeah, happy spring, happy Friday. Enjoy your snow over there as well, Brigitte. I know it's snowing over in Ireland as well. My dad sent me a picture earlier on. No snow here in Devon. Yeah. Nice sunny day. Sorry. You like the snow anyway. The snow is your joy, so it's all
exactly.
Good.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Jen. That was a nice conversation. Thanks a lot.
Always a pleasure to chat with you. So thanks a million, guys. And we will see you soon and have a great weekend. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.